What's good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a super chill Q&A video. And I was actually kind of nervous about filming this just because it's been so long since I've sat down and properly filmed. I'm still figuring out the location, the setup, but I figured why not just kind of ease my way into these sit down videos again with the Q&A. I asked you guys to ask me some questions on my Instagram and you guys asked me a bunch of really good ones. I wish I could answer every single one, but obviously I cannot. So I will try to get back to you guys on Instagram after filming this if I didn't choose your question. Hopefully you guys have a tea. I have my tea right here and we're just gonna chat and catch up. So one of the first questions you guys asked me, I got actually quite a few questions similar to this, is what do I do when times are tough? How do I continue believing and manifesting what I want? When you're going through something, if you're going through a period of depression or just externally in your life, when things are not working out the way that you're planning for them to, or maybe you're trying to manifest something and it's not coming as soon as you thought it would, I always try to remind myself that there are seasons for everything. Just because something is not working out the way that you had planned or something is not going your way doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just may not be your season yet. And I know that sounds like a really annoying answer, but I think because we've all kind of grown up in a culture where growth is all that is really celebrated, when we're having seasons where we're not growing, or maybe we're having seasons where we're not attracting the things that we're trying to manifest, we feel like we're failing. But in reality, that's not always the case. You may be in a season in your life right now where you're maybe not focused on growth, or maybe you're not meant to be focused on growth. A lot of things that we want to manifest usually are material things, but sometimes we forget that there's a lot of spiritual and inner work that we have to do before we can actually start to see the things that we want externally, whether that be material things or maybe an opportunity or maybe a job or X, Y, and Z. A lot of times we have to do some of that inner work, that spiritual work first, before these things can open up for us and before the universe feels as if we're ready for them. And obviously I could speak for hours about the fact that like some people are just more privileged than others. Honestly, I think a lot of times we forget that when we see a lot of people, you know, me included, like I have my own privileges. When we see some people who are like, oh, I'm manifesting my dreams, I'm traveling the world and I'm in my dream apartment, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people who are in those positions manifesting those things do have privileges as well. So I just think it's really important to, one, recognize that again, there's seasons for everything, but to two, not compare yourself to other people. Because again, when you see people online, when you see people who are maybe the same age as you or younger than you and it looks like they have more than you, whatever, people have different privileges, people have different life experiences, and your journey is your own for a reason. As soon as you kind of start focusing more on your own journey and realizing that you're exactly where you need to be right now, if you feel behind, if you feel like you're not, you know, making enough money or whatever at the age that you're at, it's not really true, right? That's just all societal, it's all conditioning, it's not real. And I think doing that inner work to really learn how to let go of that and let go of those limiting beliefs that we have around where we should be at a certain age or X, Y, and Z. Like once you start doing a lot of that inner work, you can kind of let go of that. And then I feel like usually what tends to happen is, you know, while we're doing that inner work, eventually the things that we want to see externally start to open up for us. I also got asked a few questions about like what I do when I'm in a funk. And I feel like that's usually like more short term, right? Like maybe you're having a weird week or maybe a few days where you're feeling off and you kind of like want to get back on track. Honestly, one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the past year when it comes to my spiritual journey is that we don't need anything. Like there's no external tools that we really need besides ourselves. You have everything that you need within you to access unconditional love, to raise your vibrations at any time that you want to. So for me, whenever I'm in a funk, I usually, oh, there's a butterfly outside. Whenever I'm in a funk, I usually will always come back to my body. Our body is like our greatest gift that we were ever given in this earthly human experience that we're all having right now. So for me, learning to come back into my body through movement, through stretching, through breathing, through whatever, you know, practice feels good to me in the moment. Learning how to do that and learning to start doing that more frequently when I am in a funk has really help me when I'm in periods where I'm not feeling my best. I've shared with you guys kind of recently, like I definitely have been going through quite a bit of shadow work and limiting beliefs that I've been really working through recently. So I've definitely kind of been in that period where, I don't know if I would say I'm in a funk, because I don't really like to like label that anymore as like this like bad thing. I'm just going through a period where it's like there's like a lot of heavy emotions that I've been dealing with. And so whenever I'm feeling in that weird headspace where it's like, you know, I just feel off, again, learning to come to my body learning to come back to my body has been one of the biggest game changers for me when it comes to not only just like my spiritual journey, but just like me mental health wise, productivity wise, creativity wise. Like for me, I feel my most creative when I feel connected with my body. And I would say honestly for me, mainly yoga, and learning how to do yoga in a certain way, not just doing yoga just to do it, but doing it in a way where I'm really sitting with my feelings, sitting with my breath and observing how I'm feeling, and learning how to not judge that has been the biggest game changer for me when it comes to my spiritual journey. So if you guys want to see me talk more about that, definitely let me know, because I can. I think I just answered a lot of questions at once, so I've just kind of been rambling. Another question that I got quite a few times is how was my trip / move, which I really appreciate the fact that you guys even care. I feel annoying talking about my trip because I feel like I've been talking about it like a lot, but I guess I kind of haven't. My trip was amazing. It was definitely needed. I wouldn't even say needed. I just feel like it was such an amazing experience that I just felt really called to do. And I was really kind of visualizing that experience a lot leading up to it. So when I got there, I just kind of felt like I was exactly where I needed to be. I will say, and I talked about this a lot in my, I want to say it was my first Costa Rica vlog. I will say there was a lot of heavy shadow work that I was faced with on that trip. It wasn't all rays of sunshine and light and butterflies like I kind of expected it to be, but I think it was definitely necessary, again, for my overall spiritual evolution to kind of go through those experiences. And honestly, even now that I'm here, that kind of goes into the next question, which is about the move. Now that I'm here, I'm still dealing with a lot of limiting beliefs and really still having to work through them. But I feel like that trip really gave me a chance to kind of see more clearly what those limiting beliefs are. Because I think when you're traveling solo, you're really being faced with like having to be by yourself, having to really sit with how you feel at all times. You're going to have a lot more time to really look at yourself and look at the things that are triggering you. So I feel really grateful for that experience, for showing me what it is that I need to work on. Because again, now that I'm back here, I'm able to see like more clearly how to work on those things as I also like integrate into normal life, if that makes sense. Another question that I got is how do I deal with the need for validation? And then another few questions that I got were about like self-esteem. So like, how do I find my self-esteem? Where do I get my self-esteem and confidence from? I have a lot of videos on this actually. I'll link them. So I'll link them in the description box. One of the biggest things that I've really been learning lately is that like, at the end of the day, everyone is living in their own world. And I know that sounds like a really weird like statement, but like if you are constantly worried about what someone else thinks when it comes to maybe starting a YouTube channel, or maybe when it, you know, even something as simple as like wearing what you want, when you're worried constantly about what other people think, you are only harming yourself. If you're doing something that causes someone to judge you, that causes someone to not like you, that causes someone to be uncomfortable with you, X, Y, and Z, that is their own problem. You have to really ask yourself why their opinion matters to you. What kind of attachment do you have to certain people, or maybe just to a public perception that has you feeling like that still has control over you? And I think that just really takes a lot of inner work to really start to question that and really learn from that. Because I feel like someone on the internet can sit up here and give you all the advice that they want about you shouldn't care about what people think, like live your own life, have fun, blah, blah, blah. But like that's just so much easier said than done. So I think it's really important to sit back, do the inner work, and really question like, where do those feelings of attachment to what other people think about you come from? I can tell you a lot of my feelings of needing validation from other people comes a lot from my childhood experiences in the schools that I grew up in. Like I know where it comes from. I know what things kind of trigger me and make me feel like I need to start suddenly working more for validation. I know what environments and what people I'm gonna be around that are gonna start to kind of trigger that for me. I've spent a long time, not really a long time, but I mean, I've spent a good amount of time really working to dissect like where those feelings come from. Because at the end of the day, when you are needing validation from other people, when you're worried about that, that comes from an insecurity. And you really have to sit back and ask yourself, where do those insecurities come from? Does it come from your family making you believe you were inadequate? Does it come from people that you grew up around making you feel like you were inadequate? Like it comes from somewhere, right? And we usually all have it to some degree. Even people who are posting online, it seems like they don't care about what people think at all. Everyone cares about what people think to some degree, but it's really more of a question of, do you care about what people think to a point where that's gonna stop you from doing what you wanna do and living the life that you wanna live? That's when it becomes a problem. Again, it's easy to give you all the advice in the world to just say don't care, but like you have to do the inner work. You have to really understand why you care. So, oh my God, I'm so out of breath. It feels so weird filming again. It's like so much energy to like talk to a camera. If y'all have a YouTube channel, y'all know what I mean. Filming can be so tiring. Oh my gosh, I'm taking a sip of tea. But I miss it so much. Okay, let's get on to the next question. One question says, advice to my old self on my content creation journey. One thing that I really struggled with from a young age, again, was my self-esteem and me caring about what other people thought. And so I think honestly, if I go back in time and tell myself anything, it would be exactly what I just said to you guys earlier, that again, you have to really do the work. Everything that you feel surrounding fear, every limiting belief comes from somewhere. So you have to understand where things are coming from in order to move past them, in order to let them go. So the last question I'm gonna touch on really quickly is, do I have any advice or tips on genuine relationships slash friendships? I actually talked about this a lot with my best friend on her podcast. She actually just released, oh my God, I can't talk. She just released a podcast this week, and we talked a lot about relationships and friendships and just cultivating friendships and setting boundaries, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to see a more like detailed conversation on that, then you guys can go check out the podcast. I will link it down below. It's a really good conversation. And part of the reason why I like that conversation so much is because me and my best friend have gone through such an evolution in our friendship. So I think I would say one of my biggest tips for cultivating genuine relationships slash friendships, whatever you want to call it, is realizing that every single relationship that you have is a reflection of yourself. And while I'm a firm believer that some people, you know, are meant to be in your life for seasons, I do genuinely believe in order to have genuine long-term relationships, you have to first start working on loving yourself. And I know that sounds really corny, but I think for me, I've been able to like better my relationships when I've started to better my relationship with myself. Because I feel like when you are judgmental towards yourself, when you are angry with yourself, when you are dealing with negative feelings within yourself, that's also going to reflect in your relationships. And for me, learning, again, doing the shadow work and learning what my insecurities were and where they come from has really showed me where I'm projecting those feelings onto people in my life. Again, I'm really appreciative of my relationship with Colin and my relationship with my best friend and just so many people in my life, because I've seen so many people that I've been friends with at kind of a younger age and a more immature age. I've seen us grow and evolve, and maybe it's not been completely together and not been completely dependent on each other, but we've been able to grow and evolve and learn in our own ways and support each other through that evolution and through that growth. I think a lot of times we all want really genuine friendships, but as soon as someone does something to upset us, we're like, okay, that friendship's over. It doesn't serve me anymore. But honestly, my friends have seen me make so many mistakes. I've been so immature at so many points in my life. My friends have seen that and they've been able to forgive me and watch me grow and have loved me through so many periods in my life where I feel like I've been unlovable. And by people forgiving me and by me learning to forgive Colin and my friends for things that they have done to me, I've been able to build really genuine relationships through that growth and through that evolution, because again, I know the people in my life are good people. And again, the more I've kind of done my own inner work and the more that the people in my life have done their own inner work, the better we've been able to be in that relationship, if that makes sense. So that was a very long-winded answer, and I can definitely make a separate video on that if you guys want. But yeah, that's what I would say definitely has been the biggest thing for me when it comes to building genuine relationships, because yeah, it's been a journey, y'all. It's been a freaking journey. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this super chill Q&A. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys are doing. It feels really good to just be back and be filming again and like having more time to finally answer DMs and comments and all that stuff. So I'm really excited to be talking with you guys and catching up with you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I don't know what day this video is gonna be posted. Oh, I hope you guys are having an amazing start to your week. So I think it's gonna be posted on Sunday. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.